Welcome to Roxtalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. I'm Roxanne Wilson.
And I'm Taryn Soa, your social media sidekick.
She seems very serious today. We'll have to get to the bottom of that a little later. Yeah, you do. You seem serious. But last week, if you recall, we were discussing the brand new trend report from GWI that's all about social media trends, circa now. So juicy, as Taryn would call it. I'm taking that word from you. But we didn't get time to finish it. We gave you a lot to consume and consider, but there are a couple other things we wanted to touch base on. So we're going to dive into that today. Frankly, if you're not convinced that social media is going to help you grow your business, I don't know what more we can do. Yeah. We're at a loss. But we're going to try. But
we're still going to try.
We're still going to try. So we'll be right back. Taryn, does your engagement suck? I'm just curious.
No. You want to know why it doesn't suck?
I do want to know why.
Because I took your 3 tips and my engagement doesn't suck anymore.
Well, that was sweet. I didn't know what you were going to say, and that makes me feel really good. Thank you. I love that.
I love surprising you.
Surprises are fun. Yes, my 3 tips to really basically tells you why your engagement sucks and what we can do about it in 3 ways that work. That's what we do in social stories, and we're giving it away for free.
Yes.
So if you'd like to get that, and it's, as Taryn would say, juicy, hop on. And you know what? Engagement sucking, that's like, you know what it means. You get, you're like, does it matter that I post on social media? Did anybody hear me? Papa, can you hear me? Is anybody out there? I hear you. I'm out there, and I'm going to show you how you can find your people and get your people to engage with you, frankly, because they're out there too. You just need to work on what you're doing. So come join us. It's live. No, it's not. It's on demand. It's live and it's available right now. That's the where me is live.
Yes.
I don't know where I was going with that. Simply go to socialstoriesmembership.com/engagement or go to the show notes for the Roxtalks podcast. All right, we left off in a whirlwind of goodness when it came to the survey that is the GWI survey about all things social media and the trends around the globe, frankly. I thought we'd finish that off with just some things. I think the last thing we were talking about were fresh perspectives, right?
Yes.
And basically how people are into fresh perspectives. In fact, like if you're looking at the baby boomers or the Gen Xers, they're not really that interested in like influencers or realities, like or celebs to get their information. They really want to know or trust unlike them. Now, Gen Z, not as much. That's okay. Millennials, not as much. They're a little bit more into trending topics on social media. But if you're Gen X or baby boomers, that's not the thing that's moving your needle. So just know that. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? We shall, darling. You know what happened? Sidebar. I just watched The Proposal.
Yeah.
No. That's not right. I'm lying. That's not right. I watched The Courtship. Look it up. That's all I'm going to say. Last night. And it's very much old Regency time. And so I have a really bad accent, which is horrible because our podcast guru with the mostest, James, is British. So he's probably listening to me going like, what is she talking about? Anyhow.
You did not nail that.
I did not nail that. You did not nail that. Congratulations. So social commerce, which of course we use that terminology in network marketing more and more in direct selling and all the things. Here's some interesting information about that. The percentage of internet users who typically find out about new products or brands. Here it is. You ready? 64% find out about it on social media. 64%. 28% find out from ads that are seen on social media. So if you put those two together, that's 92% are finding it somehow on social media. 23%. That's interesting math. So these are the different ways. I think people were able to vote more than once. Recommendations or comments on social media. Well, that makes sense because social media and the recommendations or comments on social media.
Yeah.
Another place.
So recommendations from friends or from an account you're following, not necessarily directly from an ad.
Exactly. Then the next one is updates on brands' social media pages. So if you guys think about this, you think about the company you're with, it is like the fourth thing people find out about your company, the actual company, where they find out about brands and products. They are finding out about you from hearsay. And I mean, like, okay, so let me, like if you're Arbonne, for example, I don't know why I chose Arbonne. Arbonne's page on social media is not getting a lot of like, people aren't flocking to Arbonne's page to buy Arbonne. They're starting out by hearing about different products and things, the fizz or whatever it may be, from social media in general and from ads and from recommendations and comments. And then they might, probably won't, when you think about network marketing, go to that page and then find out more. So I say that because Taryn, it has me thinking. A lot of times network marketers look at the page, their like corporate page, and then they try and mimic it. Like, oh, I got corporate images on my page and this and that. But that's not moving the needle.
No, survey says no.
Survey says no. Yes.
No, you are not the father.
That was okay. Wow. That was a generational wow. I said survey says as in Family Feud.
Oh, I like that show too.
You said, and I mean like the old one, the old one. You said survey says as in Maury Povich, you are not the father, the deep. Yeah, wow.
You know, sometimes I'd get sucked into that. And they make you wait till the end.
Yeah. You gotta watch.
I just want to know.
Reading. Okay.
I digress.
Next on the list that goes down happen to be posts or reviews from expert bloggers. Then it trickles down below that. Yeah. Endorsements by celebrities or well-known individuals. So any of you who think you need to find an influencer to talk about your product, that is way down the list, puppy. You doing you is going to be a lot more effective. Then ads on messaging apps, then video blogs, vlogs, and then forums and message boards. So like literally, if you focus on social media and recommendations, comments on social media, that's where people are finding out about the good stuff. Something to think about.
That's number one. That's kind of like a sense of relief of like, because social media is time consuming. I don't want to lie and say, oh, we can have you doing your social media in 30 minutes a week. Like that's not realistic anymore. And this kind of gives that reassurance of like, it is worth me putting in that time block. And it's worth my efforts if you're doing it correctly in the ways we suggest and staying up with like what's working now.
Amen. Amen. I love that. And I think it's so important to realize, and consistency, what you said plus consistency. Can't do it. I did it once, nothing happened. Well, yeah, because you did it once.
Yeah.
Now here's the other interesting thing. They talk about how with great power comes great responsibility, which is one of my favorite phrases, honestly. But what they're finding is that the big influencers are going down. People are like less, they just don't enjoy. It's just their effectiveness is going down. And people want more positivity on social media. Interesting.
It's surprising.
But more interesting enough, this is what they've said. Most people said they're more likely to trust someone if they know their struggles. They're asking for reality. So while they do want positivity, they want it to be real. So they said that and not only, here's what's interesting about that. I'm more likely to trust someone if I know their struggles. Not only influencers, but they also, this was the highest ranked one for all social media users. So even if you're not an influencer, if you have 200, if you have 100 followers, the more people know you and they can trust you, they're more likely going to trust you if they know your struggles. If it's not like just like life is just wonderful. Everything is, everything's crashing down, but I love life. So they want real, while positivity was something, they want the real with the positivity.
It almost sounds like they want that sense of like, you're a real person, you're also going through things, but look at you showing up with positivity. Like they want the full story of it. Like I struggle with this, but here I am showing up instead of just like, oh, life is good. Woohoo, woohoo. And hiding that like struggle piece of it. They want the full story.
They want the full story. And I'll go one further. They also said people who have a platform have a duty to speak up about injustice. that is interesting as well too. And I know everyone defines injustice differently. We're not going to go there.
Right.
That duty is not a duty I'm taking on right now, but I do think that's interesting. So they do want you to be aware. And I mean,
talk about the now, like be realistic and open about like the injustice that we're maybe struggling with at that time, not just pretending like it's not happening.
Right. Don't act like nothing's happening in the Ukraine, because a lot is happening in the Ukraine, for example. They want you to be recognized that's going on, not just be like, hey, I'm a product. Everything is fine. It's fine. I told you, this, speaking of that, and I told all my Social Stories members this when I saw them the other day. And I've seen them a lot this week. It's so much fun. But we were getting ready for the summit, and we use Be Live for video streaming. And if you were in the summit, you probably thought my video stream was a little bit wonky this year. It was, because I was having issues with Be Live, and I was reaching out to them and I wasn't hearing back. And I'm like, this is weird. They usually always respond back. They hadn't responded back. And then they did. And they said, we're so sorry, but our company is based in the Ukraine. And I was like, oh my gosh, so sorry. Don't worry. I will figure out what I need to figure out. Just like praying for your safety and all the things. And so that was a reminder. We forget that, especially in this world where we have the ability to communicate with people all around the world, that we are more intertwined than we think. And so that is important.
Yeah. And we're very we expect fast results. And sometimes it's like, you do need to be reminded there is everywhere in the world, people are dealing with so many different things. So,
and not just social injustice, but like another good example, we have Social Stories members that are in Australia, and the floods in Australia have been horrible this past over the past week or so. And people have died, and it's just not good. And I know that because of them, but I can't say that I'm always good at keeping up with what's going on all around the world. I didn't know until they were like floods, and I'm like, well, what's happening? So we just have to be cognizant of that and conscious and
talk about it. And that it's okay to talk about it on your social media. If it's impacting someone, if it's like heavy on your heart, you can talk about it on your social media account. It's okay.
Yeah. Now, some of you are probably like, Roxanne, I've been following you for years, and you've always said, like, stop talking about politics, because half the people, and then we're having Americans, half the people agree with you and half of them don't. And so let me just, because you're probably like, but you said that. I did. And I don't talk about politics. Something crazy will happen if you ever hear me tell you like how I voted. That's kind of, you might think I'm a robot or in some metaverse or something if I ever tell you that. But here's the point of that. There's a way to talk about injustice without talking about how you're voting, because we have this thought process of, if I'm an R or a D, that means I feel X or Y about all things. And that is not, I don't believe that's the case. I mean, it might have become the case lately, which is really sad. Yes, I'm talking to anyone who feels that that's the case. And I'll say something like, oh, you're obviously this, you're obviously that. I'm like, I'm obviously Roxanne, is what I am. And my opinions are my opinions, but I think it's important to ignore the people who want to put you in a category of R&D. And if there's some social injustice that you feel compelled to talk about that injustice. Don't talk about the politics. And when I do talk about it on my social, like when I talk about it on my Facebook, which is rare, but I do, I'm more of a Twitter person when it comes to that. But I will say, this is not a place for debate. Like, I'm not here to debate or to hear any like trolling, or I'm telling you how I feel about this thing. And we're not going to make this my place of love, but this is how I feel. So I think there's room for that. And even on the podcast we had, when George Floyd was murdered, we had a panel of a variety of my friends, and a group of my friends, and we just talked about all things. And so we have those moments, but I think it's just a matter of being true to yourself and being tasteful, and also remembering it's not my intention is never to alienate anybody. It's because I believe that when we talk about more, we come closer together. One more bunny trail, if you don't mind.
Let's do it. I'm just sitting over here with body chills, like going back to that moment. So you keep talking, because I'm like, yeah.
So I've been fortunate enough to go to the Rose Bowl and like do the VIP Rose Bowl treatment for many years, not always,
Mhm.
but sometimes. This past year we went and I was inside this, they have this like lounge, and I was inside this lounge and we're friends on Facebook. I don't remember his name. I need to find it. This gentleman who has been in the bowl, like been in charge of bowls, like as in like, bowl games for a while. And he and I were talking. He's like Texas. And I lived in Texas for a long time. So I can talk to any and everyone under the sun because you can see everyone in Texas. Anyhow, he and I were talking about just the way that people can't talk to each other anymore. And it's so sad. And we got to like a deep conversation about all things, yes, politics and social injustice and all the things. And we were really like, we need to just get people together to have this conversation, because when we do have that conversation, we realize we're not that far apart. The problem with social media is it's snippets. And also it allows people, which gosh, I'm like, please tell me you don't really feel that way, but it allows people to speak in a way that we would never to speak to someone in person.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, that's the big difference, is people then feel like they can say whatever because then they log off and go and do their day. And then they can like have time to think about their rebuttal. But you wouldn't talk like that in real life. Well, or maybe you would. I don't know. Thanks for being true to you.
Yeah, I'm like, so is this what you want to say to me in person? But you don't, because that's also scary.
Yeah.
But also is like, just like a text message, it's flat. You can't hear my voice behind it. You can't hear any of that. So it doesn't, and it's not a dialogue. Like you said, I can log off. So I am not there in real time. You're not there in real time where you see people in a room. And I feel like if we could, some of these differences we have wouldn't be so different after all. I digress.
Or they would be different, but we could respect the difference.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah. Sorry, I took a tea drink, but yes, amen to that. That is so true. Gerald,
so all that to say, it's okay to share what you're going through and your thoughts and thinking about it on your social media. But I love how you kind of phrased it. Like, this isn't open for like a debate. Like, I'm just standing up on this platform that I have, sharing my opinion.
Yeah. And I tell them, like, if you can't respect that, then I'm just going to delete your comment. Like, this is not a place where people can't come and feel safe. If you want to talk about it as an adult and we can have a discussion, that is fine. But if the second you turn it, I'm not putting my followers, my friends, I'm not doing that to them. Yeah.
No.
Okay. People are buying percentage of global social media users who subscribe to the following social media accounts. Okay. This is what people are all about, bands and singers and musicians. I think that's interesting. That's gone up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I follow none.
I don't either.
Okay.
I mean, because I don't really consider J-Lo a musician.
I actually do follow J-Lo as well. And no, I just like to see her pictures of her body. It's banging.
I don't think she considers herself a musician either. She is an entertainer and she's fabulous at that. But yeah, no, okay. We dance a lot in my dance rose classes for songs, but influencers or other experts, people follow them. That can be you. And that's why in social stories, we get you to a point where you are setting yourself up as an expert. You would have thought I was going to say influencer. I didn't, as an expert. So people come to you for that knowledge and information. They won't come to you as an expert if all you're doing is saying, buy my product. That's not an expert. That's a
salesman. And how do you want to sit and hang out with a car salesman?
I love that you said that, because I was going to say that's a used car salesman. I'm like, I don't want to offend used car salesmen, but used salesmen. So you open the door, so I'm there.
Yeah, sorry. And if you are a used salesman, like, that is your job. They're going to you to get a car. So that makes it different. And social media, like, I'm not going to your account to like directly be sold right away. Like, there's gotta be some relationship, some dating, some getting to know each other.
Buy me a meal before we, come on now.
Yes. We're not jumping right into bed. So
girls gotta eat. Yeah. We used to say that all the time. Yeah. Anyhow, I digress. Then sports people and teams. And then last but not least, and this has jumped up, by the way. In fact, the biggest increase on this are beauty experts. Beauty experts. And y'all.
Yeah, I do.
And the thing about beauty experts is people are not like, did you go to school for beauty? Oh, you didn't go to school for beauty? Then you are not a beauty expert. That's not how that works. Every one of you who has a beauty line you can be a beauty expert.
Speaking of this, people who are listening here on the podcast, I need some help with my skin.
Not just say
I
that.
need someone to hop on my DMs. I'm letting it happen. See, I asked. I'm giving you approval. I need help.
Okay, well, give everyone your Instagram so I can slide into your DMs. Go ahead, Taryn, because I don't want them sliding into mine about this.
Hey, don't slide into Roxanne's. Slide into mine. Taryn.sowa, TARYN.SOWA. I need help.
Help. Okay. All right.
And the first two I'll respond to. After that, I'm not listening.
Why don't you put a note up in the Social Stories Facebook group before this comes out as well, too?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, kind of give them a little a leg up. Say, I need help with my skin.
I want like one of those sucker things, so like suck things out.
Oh, yeah. You know what the cool thing, though, is that because we have so many different companies in social that are representing Social Stories, you're going to get those who are like, here's pharmaceutical grade. Here's if you want natural, you're going to get hormone free, or clean, I should say. And then you also get better than clean, which is hormone free. You'll get to choose, Taryn.
Ooh, okay.
Will you do me a favor and take all of their, because I know a lot of them take all of their give them the true, you could choose whatever you want to choose, but give them the true, this is my experience after. You know what I'm saying? So they know, because some of them will have surveys, some of this, but if you, maybe we'll just say, if you want to know how you did, Taryn, I'll let you know. Maybe you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it'd be helpful.
Yeah. Almost like secret shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Except they know who you are, but yes.
Yeah. I love it. I'm in for it.
Totally post that before they post it. Yeah, I'm excited. That'll be great. Okay. All right. There's that. And then last but not least, no. I'm just looking at stuff that applies. Nope. I think that's it. So I guess what's our takeaway from all this? And Soa?
So the takeaway I get from this, and I kind of talked about it earlier, it's like that sense of relief, okay, social media is where I need to put my time and effort. People are there. People are buying. People are looking for you as an expert. They're not necessarily going right to an influencer. Another takeaway, though, I'm hearing is you got to do video. You have to show you. And I'm not saying you need to show your face all the time, but we've been playing around with more reels on our account and we're always testing. And the ones that do the absolute best is when Roxanne's face is on it. For this beautiful, perfect, put together person. There is a time and place for that. And those posts do good as well. But they want to see you behind the scenes.
So true. So good. I mean, you wrapped it into a pretty bow. I don't have anything to add to that. What do I do with that? I just there's.
You don't have anything to say?
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, it was great.
Good. Well,
the one thing I will say, if you're watching the video, her cat just jumped off of the table and off the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
She's having. So I normally work in my office. I used to work down here 5 days a week.
We're now in behind the scenes. Carry on.
Oh, yeah. So now we're transferring right into behind the scenes. Now I work upstairs a lot because I'm home with the kids. So I'll work on my laptop. So when I'm down here, the cat is so happy. She gets me to myself. She doesn't have to share with 2 dogs, humans. So she's living her best life right now. She's perched right next to me. You guys can't see her, but.
So that's a good question. How is, what do we call this? Momming / how is, you're doing it all.
There's another one. I got 2.
That's not the same. Okay. So y'all, you need to watch the video for this because the cat just popped up in the back of her head. How is your new normal going? If you recall, her husband has gone back to work. He was freelancing and taking care of the kids, and now he's not taking care of the kids, which means that Taryn is taking care of the little ones and running her entire business all at once. How's that going?
It is. So we had a reverse Great Recession where he decided to stay home, to put that in context, with COVID and whatnot. And so we had him home and I loved it. It was so great having him here. But now that he's gone, it's good in the sense that I feel like I'm getting my routine back, and I I try not to use this like control word, but I like to have like a little bit more control over my kids' schedules. Jeremy is very lax. He's a great father. They love him to death. But if they want candy, they get candy. And I am not like that. So I do love the sense of like, I feel like we're all getting back into our routine, but I am having a hard time like getting all my work done or getting all the household stuff done. Like I'm having to kind of balance that. And I don't like balancing it. I'm trying to find like the new system where I can kind of get everything done that needs to be done. And that to me is also choosing what's a priority and what's not, and then not worrying about it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's been tough. I've been going to bed at like 10 o'clock, which is really early for me. I'm a night owl. So usually like you and I talk in the evenings and I'm like out. I am dead. I'm a zombie.
Yeah, because that's 7 o'clock my time. Like, where'd Taryn go?
Mhm.
You'll get it. I think it's just funny because it all came, you went on vacation and then you came back and it was like new normal and the summit and everything else you're doing, like, blah, but you're here. Yeah.
Thank you. I thought that was a good idea, like go on vacation, come back and be ready. But actually like going on vacation before, like I was a little stressed like the whole vacation because I knew what was coming, but I'll get the hang of it. I've got great resources and peeps that I can reach out to for tips. And yeah, stay tuned on my journey. If you start seeing more gray hairs, if you're watching on YouTube, just don't say anything. Like I'm doing my best.
Oh, the grays come. They just keep coming, just so you know. For me, I just got back from my sister's. So the summit just ended. We're not going to talk about that today because we're talking about that next week. And we've got some great takeaways for y'all. But something I did that just timing wise, it's just the way it is. My sister's birthday doesn't change. I went off to Oregon last weekend and we had a wine tour trip. So she goes on wine, it's become her thing. She goes to different wine countries every birthday, but she usually doesn't invite anyone to go with her. Usually not invited. I've been invited because
like she goes by herself.
Yes.
Oh,
I
sounds amazing.
Oh yeah. To me, I'm like, what? That does not sound like a vacation, but you know, I'm a manifestor. I need people. So, so there was one year where she went to Temecula. I'm pointing to Temecula right now, which is not that far. It's like an hour and a half away from me. So she did not invite me, but I was invited at the last minute to come pick her up and take her to the airport.
Oh. How convenient.
I did go. I know. And we had some drink. We went to the Wilson winery there and whatnot. But this is
how ironic.
I know.
Is that her last name too? Do you guys all have the same last name?
The same last name. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
None of my siblings have the same last name. So it's like normal for me to ask that question.
No,
so sorry if it was weird.
So we this time, so she really wanted to go to Napa. She has not been to Napa or Sonoma, but the thing is when we're booking it, it's January and it's Omicron and no one knows like what is March going to be like. And she didn't want an Omicron or whatever, a Megatron or Transformers type of birthday. So I was like, let me do some looking, Rochelle, because she's been to Paso Robles. She's been to Sedona. Or wine country. I don't know, somewhere in Arizona. I should know. I'm from Arizona, but she's been in all those. And so I was like, okay, let me look. I'm like, Rochelle, did you know that there's wine country in Oregon? And she's like, no. I'm like, here's the link. There's like Pinot Noirs, which happens to be my favorite type of wine. And so she looked, she's like, I actually know some of these wines. Let's do it. So we went and we invited Big Sister to come with us as well too. And her friend, my sister's friend. And it was so like, we were in a Hallmark movie for a weekend.
You guys looked like you were in a Hallmark movie. And I remember we talked that Saturday morning you were there. I was like, post your pictures on social media because I want to see them. And the whole world wants to see you having a great time.
Yeah, I was going to, but then I'm like, I want to make sure I balance it. So at the end of the night, I put a bunch up. But it was so much fun. And it was so funny. Her friend goes, we're all going to meet someone here, quit our like big city jobs and come live in a small town.
In Oregon?
That's a Hallmark movie. That's what you do in a Hallmark movie. You're like, oh, city life's not for me. I found the cute guy who looks like he's a model. And then, so it was just funny. But
sorry, Scott, you're out.
he can come with us. So I'll keep you, Scott, but the rest of them, no, I'm just kidding. But so we went on the first day night we were there. We went to this Italian restaurant. My sister loves Italian. And we met Downtown Dave, who's apparently like in charge of tourism. and he and his wife are sitting right next to us. So that we started just with the red carpet and like, where are you guys going? We went to all the great places. We already had it all set because Rochelle and I worked on it, and I made an itinerary and all.
Yes, it was beautiful.
That I did.
Yes.
So it was just fun. And I went on, I've never been on a wine tour. Trish from listen to this, No Whining Wine Tours. How cute of a name is that?
Sounds like something I would do. That sounds amazing.
She took us to wineries. I fell in love with this winery. If you ever drink again, I will send you some wine. I joined a wine club.
Mm-hmm.
I've never joined a wine club before. And this is a wonderful, magical weekend. And I ate like the Dickens. My lumen was coming in at a 5. It's okay.
Yeah. And then you posted like Monday, some snatched gym pics. So clearly it didn't stick with you.
Well, I gained 4 pounds. True. I got on the scale on Monday. I was like, okay, I'm receiving those 4 pounds. I'm allowing you in, and now I will allow you to leave. So there's that.
You can leave. You stayed here for a second to keep me warm and cozy on my trip. Boop, off you go.
Get out. Go back. So anyhow, that was the time. It was good. All the things. That's what I got from my behind the scenes.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So you guys, you rock. I hope you understand that social media is a great thing. It's a great tool when you use it and understand it's a strategy. And of course, if you're in social stories, we talk all about the strategy. One more thing, can I say? Is it okay?
Yes.
So we welcomed in a nice crew of new social stories members. And if you're listening, we're so excited. It's so exciting. And yes, we had our first office hours. And
how did it go? Because I wasn't there. I didn't hear any hoopla from it. So
well. You should look on the Facebook page when I'm like, I have homework from Roxanne. I'm struggling. I need la la la. And I'm like, she's so cute. I love you, Tina. I'm talking about you right now. So
Tina,
this is great. So they not only did many of the new members show up for the office hours, they had done homework. They like worked on this whole. I say call homework. They had already worked on the blueprint. They had storefront ready to go, and they were ready to get it reviewed. Like I was like, it was just great. So very excited, and I'm excited to see them as well again at the content creation workshop this Sunday, or Saturday, excuse me. But the momentum, Sunday in Australia, the momentum is awesome. So.
That's good. Yeah. We welcomed the perfect group of women. I think we had all women. No men came through?
No men came.
No. I'm so excited. I got to do the welcome post the other day. I was like, welcome. I just love the vibe in the Facebook group. Like it is so helpful. People like in the community members one, like ask a question and gets answered. Like it's not about like compete against each other, even though everyone's from a different company or maybe they're from the same company, but it's just like a tribe and I love it.
Can I go one further? Because we should talk about, I know I keep adding to the podcast.
Drink every time we trail off. So, water, tea, whatever.
Right. So this past week has been exciting for network marketing and bittersweet. I believe we are all the same. When one of us does well, we all do well. When one of us doesn't do well, it hurts us all. And right when the summit was coming out, news came out that one of the network marketing companies is no longer, which is sad, so sad. But I brought that up because you said what a great community is. One of the things I did for my members that were in this company, I said, hey, I'm going to do like, if you want to talk, you want to talk through next steps, whether you want to keep on doing network marketing or you want to call it a day. I am someone who is agnostic to what you decide to do. And so I've had a few of them come and like, oh yes, can we have, and I've been coaching with them and,
good.
Yeah. But what was really cool was that the network marketers that were in other companies just wrapped themselves around them, not to say, hey, join my company, but like, just, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear about it, and it was just really nice and uplifting. So I was like, another reason I love this community. And then I want to go ahead and welcome in the big announcement, of course, this past week was that Kendra Scott is now going into direct selling. What do you know about that? Isn't that amazing?
I know nothing. You told me, but I was like, what does this mean?
It means a lot of good things. I think what it means more than anything, it'll be interesting what happens, right? Because sometimes big companies come in and they don't understand the space. But what I do think it does, and I've seen a lot of posts, y'all, network marketers go too far on it, right? It's the thing. But it does give credibility to the channel. Modern credibility. I mean, we know that like Pampered Chef, no, I'm sorry, Tupperware was created by Warren, or I don't think created. He owns Tupperware. I think I got that right. It's been a while. But like Warren Buffett is, while relevant, is not.
It's not new.
No. And I'm sure that for some young people, they think Warren Buffett must be like Jimmy Buffett and he has like Margaritaville. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know that everybody knows. He's an old man. Okay. And that is fine.
Right. And that doesn't speak to us modern women.
Correct. So when we have
Thank you for paving the way.
Thank you. Yes. But when we have Kendra Scott, who literally, well, I think Mary Kay probably paves the way, but when we have Kendra Scott, who literally, I remember because I was in Austin doing radio and television, different things there. She was I remember her her story back then was like, she was divorced, had kids, was doing her jewelry thing. And every event she would always give, I was in the Junior League of Austin. She would always give like buku things for charity and all this. And she was always relevant there. And I remember like at the radio station, right, we were right next to, in Penn Station or Penfield, I should say. We were right next to her, what do we call it? Her workshop and her original store and stuff. So I remember like we'd go and like, oh, sample sale. And I have some like OG Kendra Scott things, but to see her grow. And I remember first seeing her like, oh my gosh, someone's wearing Kendra Scott earrings on TV, or that's so cool. And then it became like Kendra Scott is everywhere. And then it became Kendra Scott is like on Shark Tank. Right. And now Kendra Scott is realizing that direct selling is a place where she wants to be. I think that gives credibility. And I love that because it shows people, maybe I should take a look. Now, I know that a lot of people like, see, we're right. Yeah. And yes, we are right. Direct selling rocks the Casbah. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but I think it's pretty dang cool. And
it is pretty cool.
I am also interested in the jewelry network marketing companies. I'll be interested to see, I want to see who becomes I don't know what she's calling them, stylist or whatever, maybe like, I'm curious. Is there going to be a flock? Like, are we going to see a lot of people flock over there? Is it just going to be people in general? Or it'll be interesting to see. We should probably maybe get someone from there on the podcast. Hey.
Okay. I don't have my notebook ready.
We should see about maybe talking to someone from there direct. I mean, not Kendra. I mean, love Kendra. If Kendra wants to come, Kendra, you can come anytime. But I'm saying like someone who's focused on, I have names. I got the names already.
It's like ground level in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned for that episode.
I guess it's happening. Well, we just put it into existence. So it's a thing. Okay. That's probably enough. We should probably go now. Eh?
We should go. We hope you guys all have a fabulous week.
Yes. You're not ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And we'll see you next week. Right. For another episode of Roxtalks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.